In recent years, gegenpressing has gained a lot of popularity in European football as being one of the most effective and successful systems out there. But let me ask you this, what's the use of having the perfect tactic and a bunch of good players if you don't train them on how to actually operate within a gegenpressing system? So in today's video, I'm going to show you how to build those high press training schedules and how to implement them in your training calendar. Very easy stuff, let's do it. As always, we are going to build 4 schedules and I'm going to tell you where you can download them. And right at the end of the video, I'm going to give you one golden tactical tip that will make sure that you optimize your gegenpress system. Now, a whole bunch of training videos is coming your way on this very channel, so please, rule number 1, do not leave your training up to the assistant. Capiche? Let's start with the gameless week. Go to the training tab, hit the schedules up top, and I just want to make sure that I understand what the game gives me as the default gegenpress schedule. So drop down, tactical style, gegenpress, no matches. Now, I do think I like just about 80% of the schedule, and let me tell you why. For a high pressing system, we need hard-working, physically strong players with good stamina. But we are also looking for good decision making and technique, because every single player has to be capable once they have the ball at their feet. Now, in this default schedule, we have 2 really relevant defensive sessions that are literally step 1 for our gegenpress system. So I'm going to leave those as they are, but I'm just going to switch them over to Monday. Why, you might ask? Well, I am assuming that even though this is a gameless week, we will have had a game on the previous weekend, so I kind of want to go not too intense on them on that Monday. Now, defending from the front mainly targets the attacking unit and it impacts the exact things that we need in our system. Defending engaged has a similar impact, but then mainly on our defensive unit, so that is perfect. Next thing I really like about this schedule is that there are 2 transition press sessions in there. A super relevant technical session, because once we have the ball, we want to switch from defense to attack. So also for this session, it impacts the things that I'm looking for. Decisions, teamwork, work rate, I absolutely love it. And I don't mind having that session twice in 1 week, because yes, you can do that. The only thing I'm going to change is I'm going to bundle them together on Friday. Now, in my opinion, Wednesday and Saturday are perfect as they are, with a match tactics session that also impacts decision and teamwork. And it massively helps our players to simply understand our tactical system. Combine that with probably one of the most useful sessions in a gameless week, match practice, and you know we are done for these 2 days. Now that leaves us with Tuesday and Thursday. Tuesday I am okay with, because besides this one, there is no real attacking session in the schedule, and players will start complaining about that. And apart from that even, I mean, we want to have a goal-scoring training in there, right? That session in combination with endurance, which is probably one of the most relevant sessions for a pressing system, I am liking this Tuesday. But then Thursday, nah, I don't know, man. Instead of a quickness session, I'm gonna go for resistance, because I want power and strength to make sure that all my players are capable of winning the ball from our opponent, because that is where it all starts. You could argue that quickness is also relevant. Well, if that is your opinion, change it. And for that second session on Thursday, I guess overall is like a safe choice in general, but you could do pretty much any session, whatever seems relevant for you, put it in there. I am going to put a physical session in there, and do note that this is going to be the most intense training day. But I really want to focus on the physical part of training. The only thing I'm going to do now is swap Thursday and Friday around, because I think that divides the week better when it comes to intensity. And the last tweak is, of course, to add a couple of those extra sessions. Let's add some team bonding on Monday, because those are really light and never hurt. I'm gonna do another technical session on Thursday, and feel free to switch between chance conversion and chance creation. And finally on Sunday, I'm also gonna add another light training session, and this is kind of a wild card that I'm giving you, so choose whatever relevant session you want. I'm gonna go with set piece delivery, because that is always useful, no matter which system we are using. And a final note on this, if you have a gameless week in the middle of a very busy period, you can always replace some of the heavier general sessions on Tuesday and Friday with somewhat lighter sessions. Just keep an eye out for fitness levels and injuries, and you will be more than fine. Before we dive into the next 3 sessions, I want you guys to pause the video and drop a comment and tell me if there is a specific part of the training in Football Manager that you need help with. I am planning on making a lot of videos on this channel, so come on, give me some ideas. Our next schedule will be the 1 game week with a match on Sunday. So I'm gonna make Monday the rest day with 2 recovery sessions, but I will change one of them to match review as soon as I get them into my actual calendar. And I'm also gonna throw a team bonding sesh in there. And to summarize, I've basically kept all of the relevant sessions in there. I just removed the 2 match practice days. Saturday has now become the match preparation day, and you could change this up with any of these 4 sessions really, but I like the idea of the extra prep for the upcoming match. So I'm gonna go with teamwork and defensive shape, but again, feel free to mix these up. Now, I do want to point out here that I realize that this Friday intensity is quite high, but it is set right in between 2 very light training days. And frankly, it also depends on the physical capability of your players. But in all honesty, if you are playing a GEGENPRESS system every week, they should not have too many problems with this. So, Sunday game schedule, done. And the Saturday version, of course, is ridiculously similar. Skadoosh! All I did was shift every single day to the left and added a match review session on Sunday. And that's literally it. But 2 final notes to mention on this one and the Sunday game schedule. First of all, that set piece delivery session that I put in is kind of your wild card. So put in there whatever you like, but just make sure it is relevant for the GEGENPRESS and that it is not too intense. And second note, if your players are complaining that the training is like too heavy, or you do see that you get a lot of injuries, as I said before, just change one of the high intensity sessions with a lower intensity session and you should be okay. 1 session left, and that is the 2 game week. And I'm gonna pick Tuesday and Saturday as my 2 game days, but it doesn't really matter because, as always, in a week like this, there really is not too much room for training sessions. In fact, it is that simple. Tuesday and Saturday will be my match days. That makes Monday and Friday our match preparation days, and Wednesday and Sunday are all about recovery. And yes, your math is correct, only Thursday in my case is left as a regular training day. And to be honest, since they already played 2 games in that week, which is really intense on your players, I always try to keep that 1 training day as gentle as possible as far as intensity goes. One final tip on this and maybe also the other schedules: if you have a big knockout game coming up in the cup or whatever, I would always advise you to put a penalty session in there, because if the game goes to penalties, you will have a little extra boost for that upcoming match. 4 sessions done, and you can download these exact same sessions that I just created by joining our Discord. An invite link is down in the description. Come over, say hello, download these schedules among other things. Just make sure to place those unzipped files in the schedules folder within your main FM22 directory. And once you've done that, it's really easy to import them into any save game you have, just like this. Now, before I show you my golden tactical tip, the last thing for us to do now is to actually put these schedules into our training calendar. Now, I'm currently managing Stuttgart, of course, and at this moment we always have our games on Saturday and the occasional Tuesday. So let's replace these dreadful schedules my assistant manager has put in. First week we have no games, so drop down, custom schedules, GEGENPRESS, no games, skadoosh. And since I actually have a game in the weekend before, this somewhat less intense Monday comes in quite handy. The other weeks are 100% identical, so all games will be on Saturday. So again, drop down for the first week, choose your schedule, copy paste that if you will into the other 2 weeks as well. Now, because the game added those 2 travel sessions around the Dortmund game, it also copied those, so we can manually fill that out, or I could just use the drop down for both weeks again. And finally, what I like to do now is to alternate some sessions in that middle week. And that set piece delivery session I could change into maybe an extra defensive session, since that's basically what we're doing the rest of that day, right? So you get the picture, choose whatever you want here. This is your wild card. And that, my friends, is November done. December up next. And it is just as simple, because for every week we can simply choose the right schedule. First, we have the 1 game week. Next up is a double game, so let's pick that one. And in the last 2 weeks, we don't have a single game, so I can choose that first schedule we created, and also here mix things up a little by alternating some of these sessions. So chance conversion again, and why not? Let's go for aerial defense on Sunday. So once you have those schedules in place, I am telling you, it is super easy to complete the whole training calendar, so make me proud and start doing this yourself. Final part of the video. I've teased you guys long enough. I know. It is time for the tactical tip. If you want to optimize the GEGENPRESS system and you have the players to do so, the thing I'm going to show you next might be the missing ingredient because it is massively overlooked. Now, you can let your assistant handle this, but in my opinion, you really shouldn't. Go to Tactics, Opposition Instructions, Positions. Now, at some point, someone on this channel will make a completely separate video on this. Comment below if that's something you would like to see. But for now, I'm just going to tell you my thinking process for doing it like this with a high pressing system. First up, tight marking. In my opinion, in a pressing system, all players need to be man-marked to keep my players as close to them as possible to trigger that constant pressing. And I know this might seem like a little much, but bear with me. For the trigger press column, it's probably even more obvious, because I am gonna say, yes, please, let's close down all those players simply to reduce the time they have on the ball, which will hopefully lead to more errors and mistakes. I did disable it on the strikers because I am under the impression that that backfires a lot. Next up, tackling. Now, this also heavily depends on your players and the opponents they are lined up against. So it's really hard to give a generic advice, but I'm gonna try. My main motivation for doing it like this is that I like to go hard on the assist machines of my opponent. So especially in Football Manager, we all know this. Wingbacks, playmakers, possibly even wingers. But I left those last ones disabled here because the guys marking those wingers have a higher aggression attribute because they are probably my wingbacks or even fullbacks. And that is just asking for yellow and red cards. And for the final column, show onto foot, it's probably another thing that really depends on the opposition players. But my general philosophy here is players in the central axis of the field, show onto weaker foot. Done. And possibly, although I didn't do it here, I always like to drive the opponent to the sides of the pitch just to cut off some of their passing options and that they are less likely to have a clear shot at goal straight through the middle. Doing it like this will put your opponent under a maximum of pressure with little to no breathing room. But a final important note on this. If you see that the AI is starting to make moves to try and escape this pressure, make sure that you also follow up on that, man. So if you see positions getting changed or whatever, have a second look at it. A lot more videos just like this are coming your way on the channel, but for now, check out this awesome player rebuild video that Stinger did. I promise you, you will not regret it. Peace.